even links that they've set up to grow their fan base and income like Patreon or OnlyFans. I'm not talking about one artist this time, but several artists. Hey, it's Ramona from Gym Rock Crew. If you've been watching my videos, where I tell inspiring stories of fit rock and metal musicians, you're probably wondering, where the fuck is she getting all her information from? Is she reading off an article? Is someone doing her costumes? Well, I've been wanting to do this video for a while, so today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of some of the videos of artists I've featured, like Tatiana Schmeilyuk, Flor Jansen, Doyle, and more. When it comes to choosing my next feature, I always go with an artist that is requested by you. There's no shortage of rock and metal artists. The artists I feature have to have demonstrated physical and mental strength and resilience. I choose artists who value their health, take care of themselves, or have gone through a ton of hardships to follow their dream. That is the essence of Gym Rock Crew, inspiring you through their stories to give you courage and motivation to value your physical and mental health. So, let's dig in. This is the most interesting part of the process for me because I start to get into the artist's world. Now, I've been doing this for several months, so there's a certain flow. First place I look is Google. Personal interviews, early years, fitness, struggles. I extract information from articles, listen to hour-long podcasts to pick up gold nuggets, and watch interviews on YouTube. Going back as far as when they started off as artists, many of them also have YouTube channels. So I watch all their videos because there's so much great stuff in there. Then I go to their Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all their social media platforms. I'll go through every post, all the way back from when they started those profiles. It gives me a glimpse into their mindset from when they started, what they say on their posts, all their Instagram highlights if they have any, and even links that they've set up to grow their fan base and income like Patreon or OnlyFans. Just kidding. I must say though, the popular artists are easier because they have a ton of interviews and articles done on them. It gets really hard to dig up stuff on artists who are not that big because there's literally just their social medias. But I feature them anyway because ultimately I really want to help musicians grow. Now, throughout this process, I listen to all their albums and songs to really get a feel of their vibe. Some I absolutely love, I will add to my playlist, but I make sure that I give them all a real chance. This whole digging up process takes me about 3 to 5 days. It's literally morning to night, that's all I'll do. Sometimes it takes me longer because I really get into their world and I want to see more and more, even though I know some parts of it may not be relevant to my videos. And many times I get so fucking inspired by them that I just want to keep digging and digging deeper into their lives. But now, it's time to bring the story to life. So, I have all this information now. I start creating the story or the script to take you through a journey from when they started up until now. My videos, as some of you know, follow a certain sequence. Early years, any childhood influences that may have shaped who they are, how they got into music, their struggles, their health and fitness. And I usually save the fun facts for the end, like what their tattoos mean, or any side projects they have, any skills or talents. Creating the script is the fastest part of this process because I've always been really good at filtering out shit that isn't necessary and then creating a storyline. Fun fact, in school when I was about 10 or 12, we were randomly selected to do like a 5-minute morning speech at the assembly. I had this Tell Me Why book series. They're basically books for kids with fascinating answers to questions, like why is the number 13 considered unlucky, or the origin of vampires. And so I would create these stories for our morning speeches from these very interesting facts, and it had all the other kids and the teachers completely intrigued. So I kept getting selected to do these speeches. I also played piano at the school assembly. It was the national anthem every morning. No, I don't play piano anymore. I am officially a campfire guitarist. There goes my hero, it's ordinary. In university as well, I would do these presentations. I did one on the Jewish Holocaust, World War II, which I absolutely love learning about to this day. And I love watching war movies as well. Just a little tip for any of you who are afraid to get in front of a camera or do presentations. I would practice my entire presentation in front of a mirror. So it seemed like I was talking to a person and I could watch my own facial expressions and adjust them. I've also written over 100 fitness articles that have thousands of shares. So, bottom line, bringing a story together, this part is super easy for me. It takes me about a day, but if I'm really focused, it takes me a few hours. So I have the script, it's time to record. But first, the look. Now that you know that I watch a lot of these artists' videos to gather information about them, it's time to choose my costume. I'll be honest, brunettes with wild hair are the easiest but for all the others, like Maria Brink or Simona Simons and Lena Scissorhands, gosh, Lena was the hardest. I've either had to buy wigs or for Lena make dreadlocks from scratch. Lena's hair took me weeks. Once the hair is sorted, I'll search for their signature looks, something that people will see and right away know who I'm talking about. Most of the artists are very creative with their looks, so I have a lot to choose from. For Tatiana, I bought a lock of hair and then cut a fringe. Their costumes I'll try to replicate as much as possible. I really can't afford to buy stuff for each artist, so I try to reuse and recycle stuff. Painted these Arch Enemy logos on armbands for Alyssa White gloves. These are old socks I cut up, by the way. The crown or headband, I created these spikes with ribbons and used both for Maria Brink and Sharon Den Adele. And the most interesting are creating tattoos. I spent about an hour or so doing Tatiana's neck tattoo. I love painting. I've always loved it. I used to paint and draw for so many years, and so now doing these artists has really helped me tap back into my creative side. Alright, it's showtime. So the actual process of recording takes me about 15 minutes max, but the whole setup takes me a few hours. Setting up the room, the camera, mic, and also getting ready, makeup, costumes. I can only record in the afternoon between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. because that's when the sun is at its best angle. Daylight, my friends, is the best fucking light to record, which is why I do it in my living room. Fun fact, I need to be alone to project my voice and feel confident. If there's an adult around, I freeze. I can't talk. So I record the main script of the video. Then I record a quick reel so I can post that before the video to get you guys excited on what's about to come. And lastly, I take pictures to use as a thumbnail image. Now for the part I hate the most. So there are 3 parts to this, but let's start with the most interesting one. The first part, the chapters. If you noticed in my video, each chapter has a video and a title. I create those images based on the artist's vibe. So for Doyle, you see I chose a spooky Frankenstein vibe and a Frankenstein font. I look at their band logos or the artist logos and I try to find a similar font. So for Tarja Turunen, it's a winter vibe because she's a winter queen. Floriansen has this Viking vibe. So you get the picture. The second part, which is also very cool, is the music. I'll usually put heavy metal or hard rock, but it has to represent the vibe of the artist. So for Simona Simons, Floriansen, Tarja Turunen, I chose epic cinematic music because they're symphonic metal queens. Doyle has this fast punk vibe. Lena has a spooky Halloween vibe. Both visual and audio kind of come together to create this little world around the artist so you can really immerse yourself. Fun fact, I watch a lot of blockbuster movies, but from an educational point of view, to understand how they pull an audience in. Movies like Interstellar, Fight Club, Hannibal, even popular series like Game of Thrones or Dahmer. It's very cool to watch these movies now from a production point of view because they create this ongoing suspense that just has you hooked from start to finish. I'm still learning though, it's work in progress. Now for the third part and the part I hate the most, which is editing the breaks between my sentences and also editing the videos of the artists. I guess it's boring because it's just very robotic, very monotonous. It's not creative. So for the artist videos, I like using live performances. It's sometimes hard to find really good quality videos because it's usually taken from phones, but I prefer using their live performances over music videos because you get to see them in their raw, unedited form. I literally edit out everything where they're not in the main frame. I especially look for parts where they're jumping, running, and especially headbanging because it adds so much energy to the video. I also add in movie clips, GIFs, and sometimes I roleplay characters from their life so I can show you rather than tell you the story. This whole editing part takes me about 3 days, which is long, but it's also the last part. And you know, when you're close to finishing a project, it's usually the hardest time to stay focused and motivated. But that's the end. I'll re-watch it several times to make sure there's no mistakes, that I'm happy with it, and then I hit publish. So start to finish, it takes me about 10 days between each video. Because after I publish, I need about a day or two to just step away from the fucking screen. It's usually 12 to 16 hours a day of just staring at the screen. I hope you found this interesting. I gave you a glimpse of what I do behind the scenes. I've been so inspired by the stories I talk about. This has just helped me push myself harder. If you've watched this video till the end, thank you. I appreciate you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps me and it also helps the artist acquire new fans. Also, if you want to get to know me a little better, you can join me on Patreon. The link is in the description.